In Sussex, the police helicopter doubles as an air ambulance, complete with a paramedic as a full-time member of the crew.
A report of an elderly man in the marshes around Pagham Harbour.
A call is coming in from Sussex Ambulance headquarters.
There's a report of an elderly man in a semi-conscious position in the marshes down by Selsey. There's no direct access by vehicle. The ambulance control have asked us to go along and have a look and see what we can do to recover him.
Okay, doors shut, everyone sure, strapped in.
It won't take the helicopter long to reach where the man has been seen, but every second counts. Night is falling and the temperature is dropping.
Have you got a map reference, please, Emma?
Roger, 203 Foxtrot 6.
Sorry, Mike, were you changing it?
Point for the land crew at the car park, over.
Sales is literally right on the far western extremities at the furthest point south in Sussex. It's going to be about 7 minutes. 6 minutes, yeah. I'm hoping that it's one of the same man who's missing from a home, an 82-year-old man who went missing since 7 o'clock.
Obviously at this stage we don't know whether he may have fallen over, he may have a heart condition, we don't know anything about him at all, so it's obviously very difficult to say. Touch would, it'd be fine.
Right, eyes open, see what we got.
The crew haven't been given any exact details of the man's location.
Just a distinct lack of a patient at the moment.
This is crazy.
Southbound base from Hotel 900.
On the ground, a road ambulance has also been sent to the scene. They're not having much luck either.
There's the ambulance down there, there's the ambulance, yeah.
Forward.
You get in front of them.
It's now a race to find the man.
And to Hotel 100 in the direction the patient is in, over.
But he can't be seen from the air.
Is there anyone on the path?
Yet.
Over there, over there. 1 o'clock.
Are you in RT contact with the crew still?
Police is alive.
Roger,
Anyway. Okay, then I'm going to move across that ditch. When you want to pick him up.
Yeah, we have the male located, over.
Okay, like a bit like. Okay, okay. Now.
The ambulance crew on the ground aren't far behind, but it'll be the helicopter that will lift him out.
Got an elderly gentleman here with a rather nasty laceration and a bump to his head. He's bleeding, he's very confused, he's very cold. We're just going to get him into the aircraft and get him up to hospital as quickly as possible.
This is marshland. Without the helicopter, the injured man would have to be carried for over a mile to the nearest road.
Give your hand up. There you go. Just mind your head as you're going. Keep crouched over. There you go. Turn around.
Time is also a consideration. It will soon be dark. The nearest hospital is at Chichester, but it doesn't have a 24-hour landing facility.
To land in Chichester Hospital helipad site has to be daylight only, so it's getting dark now.
The flying time to Chichester is 10 minutes. It's going to be touch and go. It's all down to the pilot now.
Obviously, the location is out in the middle of nowhere. We had a bit of trouble locating, but obviously once we found him, just landed, find out what the problem is, and get to hospital as quickly as possible. If he'd been out in that sort of location for too much longer, especially when it gets dark, his chance of survival would have been quite slim, I would have thought.
The injured man made it in time. He's since fully recovered from his nasty fall.
Hello, sir. Yeah, we have.
Hotel 900 is based at Britain's oldest airport, Shoreham, near Worthing. It's 5 p.m. and pilot John Sutherland is tonight's chef.
He's always cooking, probably because I eat the most.
Hotel 900 is also an air ambulance, and a paramedic always flies with the chopper coppers. They're a very close team.
Next.
It's a very small environment that we work in, and when you work in very small teams, I suppose it's almost a little bit like being married.
Hang on.
Say.
Try fries with that, John.
I'd probably spend more time with the pilot and the paramedic than their wives do.
John Sutherland has been flying helicopters for 20 years. He used to be with the RAF.
Right, I'm going to enjoy my sausage bunny.
The job has a great deal of job satisfaction, as you can imagine. Of all the helicopter jobs I've had, flying here in Sussex for the police and the ambulance service is the most rewarding, definitely. The Explorer is very nice to fly. Obviously it's different from other helicopters in that it doesn't have a tail rotor, but the NOTAR system, as it's called, works beautifully.
If you still look forward to going to work, then you must be in the right job. All the time I've worked here, I've always thought myself as very lucky.
I would call it a Rolls-Royce, I think. Very comfortable, and leading edge technology we have for helicopters here.
We are a dedicated air ambulance as well as a police helicopter, so consequently the equipment we carry on board reflects quite closely to what you would find on a land ambulance.
It's just a brilliant unit. You've got far more opportunity to go to see more trauma, more interesting jobs, and it's really, really worth doing.
About a quarter of Hotel 900's call-outs are for medical emergencies. This time it's a road accident.
ETA is about 7.
Yeah, about 6.
PC Julie Hickman is the only woman in the unit. She's been a chopper copper for 2 years.
Wait for an update, thank you.
3 people are trapped in a car crash. The emergency service is already on the scene, but one of the injuries is serious and Hotel 900 is needed to airlift the casualty to hospital. Wires on pylons and poles are a helicopter pilot's greatest worry when flying low. Difficult to see at the best of times. Everyone on board keeps an eye out for them.
Wires are something that we're constantly aware of when you're coming into land. I mean, we have to be very aware that we spot all obstructions.
Watch out for wires here. Lost the pylons, got the pylons.
There are just too many threats from the wires to land safely on public land. They must find somewhere else, fast.
Oh, it's in the lawn with the house.
Yeah.
Private houses rarely have pylons in the garden, but they do have phones, and that's another danger.
Where does that telephone wire go?
There, going across to the south side of the house.
Oh yeah, that's no good then.
At the crash scene, the medical teams and fire crews are becoming concerned. The most seriously injured person needs urgent hospital treatment. If the chopper coppers can't find a place to land soon, the victim will have to take a chance in a road ambulance. At the scene of the road accident in East Sussex, Hotel 900 is still unable to land to pick up the badly injured person who needs urgent hospital treatment. The threat from electricity pylons and wires means that chopper coppers must put down in someone's front garden without permission. No time to ask. This is an emergency.
Vehicle down here. Wipers, Julie?
Shut down straight away once we land.
Okay.
Steve,
Yeah, I'll wait
do you
for
want to
shut
go
down.
straight out, Steve?
Thanks, Julie.
The paramedics' priority is to find out who's the most badly hurt. Hotel 900 can only take one person at a time.
And is she trapped in there now? Not now, she's not trapped.
The chopper coppers must always move quickly when taking casualties to hospital. If people with life-threatening injuries are treated within an hour of them happening, they stand a good chance of recovery.
The RTC or the RTA at Gesslin. Yeah. Okay, so it's a female, 20s. She's got neck and back pain. It'll be 3 to 4 minutes once we lift. Speak to them. We're going to take one of those patients.
Sometimes when we arrive on scene and we're the only medical person there, it's quite exciting really, because you're the only person with medical knowledge, firemen, bystanders, witnesses to the accident are actually expecting you to take control of what's going on.
Claire, have you ever been in a helicopter before? Right, it's very, very noisy, but you just have to relax. I'll be there with you, and it'll be about 3 minutes or a bit last call. If we move out this way, yeah, and then on 3, we're going that way and up through there, yeah?
My name's John, Claire. I'm your driver. We'll only be 2 minutes into Hastings Hospital, OK?
If the patient is conscious, they might be frightened of helicopters, they might be frightened of flying, so we try and make contact with them and actually reassure them that everything's going to be OK. It is very noisy, they can't hear us, and it's very distressing, so, you know, if we can minimise that distress, it's got to have a beneficial effect on their sort of recovery.
We might be going back to get a second. We're going to get up.
When we land at the hospital, we're generally met by medical staff that come out to us. I do a verbal handover to them, as we're unloading the patient.
Nice cup of tea here, Claire.
But I always go into the casualty and continue my handover to them and make sure they're happy that they've got all the information that they require.
Hi Red Base, it's Julie from the helicopter unit. Hi, we've just flown one casualty into Hastings from the accident at Guestling. We just need to know, are we required to go back at all? There are 2 more casualties still there. Are you able to find out from the unit at the scene if they want us back there or if the other 2 casualties are going to go by land vehicle? They are. That's lovely. Thanks very much then. Cheers. Bye. No, we're not required. I've spoken to Red Base. They're bringing the other 2 in by land vehicles.
Yep, super.
So we're done.
Yeah.
Go on and get a cup of tea.
8 a.m. The day shift's on. The first job for the duty pilot each morning is a thorough check of Hotel 900. Safety is paramount.
When I get in the morning, I have to check the aircraft over. I spend half an hour or so opening up the panels, checking the engines, checking the oil levels, etc. Just make sure everything's tickety-boo.
Most police helicopter pilots originally flew in the armed services, and there's often a big friendly rivalry between them.
I've got one RAF and another Navy guy like myself. Bags of hours and experience, which is what you need to be able to cope with the flexibility, to have the flexibility that's needed in this job, because you never know what's going to happen next.
There's a pool of pilots, obviously, who have done their training in the services, and they gain their experience in operational military flying.
No job is the same, no task is the same, no location is the same, and people have to think on their feet the whole time.
There's a lot of banter between them. Of course, their individual services are the best. They are the cream, and there's a little bit of mickey taking as a result.
Well, clearly the Navy are the best.
I think it's always a subject of much hilarity in our unit that we certainly know when the ex-naval pilots are on duty, because the landings can be a little bit heavier, shall we say. But their excuse is that they're used to land on aircraft carriers, and any landing's a good landing on that.
They'll all tell you that they're the best and why, and the others aren't so good and why. But look, I'm neutral.
Hotel 900 is now after a stolen cab. Not a taxi, but a lorry cab without its trailer.
Well, luckily it was a tractor unit of HGV, so it was quite big and it was white, so we saw it early, heading southbound on whatever the road was.
Yeah, Roger, we're just going to give him an early view of ourselves, see if he wants to give up.
We went above the vehicle, or in front and above the vehicle, at an early stage.
Police on the ground have already tried to stop the lorry by puncturing its tyres with a bed of nails, a stinger device. They also know that there are at least 4 people in the vehicle.
It's still going, almost lost it on a right-hand bend.
It was clearly a danger. His view must have been severely limited by the bonnet, which was up at the front of the vehicle.
As the driver loses more and more control, the thief is becoming more and more of a danger to other road users.
Obviously, as he's approaching the town, the dangers are increasing. There's a lot more pedestrians, a lot more traffic, parked vehicles, narrower gaps for him to fit through.
Ready to deploy. Yeah, Hotel 900, his front tyres are going. We could be looking at a decant very soon. Front near side is flat. 100 yards, received 47.
The stolen lorry cab is only doing a few miles an hour, but even at this speed, it's still a threat. The cab thief is now in prison, awaiting trial.
The driver is now in custody. Retrieve